Altitude 30,000 feet. Outside temperature 45 degrees below zero. Date November 27, 1944. For the crew of the B-29 Tokyo Express. This is the 7th raid over the Japanese archipelago, and the most terrifying. They are 1,500 miles from their base in the Marianas, 750 miles from the nearest Allied territory. Every mile back will be an agony, every minute an eternity. This vulnerability, this loneliness in the sky, is the problem that only one island can solve. This is not a tactical problem. It is strategic, and the solution in the minds of men like General Curtis LeMay is simple, direct, and terribly expensive. An 8-square-mile volcanic island, code-named Detachment. Iwo Jima will not be conquered for its intrinsic value, but for what it enables, absolute dominion of the skis over Japan. The Pacific Campaign is a war of distances. After the bloody conquest of the Mariana Islands, Saipan in July, Guam in August 1944, the United States plants its flag just 1,500 miles from Tokyo. For the first time, the industrial heart of the Japanese Empire is within reach of heavy bombers. The B-29 Superfortress is a revolutionary weapon, but in late 1944, it is an imperfect weapon. Its R-3350 engines are prone to overheating and fires, and most critically, it operates without its vital shield, the P-51 Mustang escort fighters. The Mustang, with its 1,100-mile combat radius with extra tanks, still falls short of the 1,500-mile trip to Tokyo. The first commander of the 21st Bomber Command, General Haywood S. Hansell, Jr., believed in daylight precision bombing, but the high losses force a change. His replacement, General Curtis LeMay, inherited a dilemma: fly by day and be shot down, or fly by night and miss the target. Neither option was acceptable. The solution emerges from pure geometry. Iwo Jima, in the Tokyo prefecture, sits 750 miles from both the Marianas and the Japanese capital. It fits perfectly within the P-51 Mustang's range. Possessing Iwo Jima means being able to launch fighters that can meet the B-29s at the midpoint of their journey, accompanying them to the target and back. Iwo Jima thus becomes an immobile, indispensable aircraft carrier. Iwo Jima is not an island. It is an aerial platform. Its sausage shape is dominated by Mount Suribachi to the south and rugged terrain to the north, but its heart is the 3 airfields. Matagama No. 1, fully operational, is the immediate prize. Reports from the 2nd Marine Photographic Intelligence Division, dated December 9, 1944, indicate that the Japanese are leveling the island with forced Korean labor to expand these runways for large-scale operations. The operational doctrine is meticulous. The P-51s of the 15th and 21st Fighter Groups would take off from Iwo Jima and climb to cruising altitude, meeting the B-29 formations at predetermined rendezvous points over the ocean. This escort was not just protection, it was a psychological force multiplier. B-29 pilots, knowing the watchdogs would be there, could focus on bombing accuracy, not pure survival. But Iwo Jima's most immediate and moving role would be as an emergency hospital. A damaged B-29 was a flying coffin. The crew of the Dynamite became the personification of this salvation. On March 4th, with the battle still raging 1,000 yards from the runways, they landed. It was the first of thousands. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Morgan, pilot of the B-29 Dauntless Dottie, summarized. Seeing Iwo Jima on that horizon was like seeing the Statue of Liberty. It meant home. The numbers speak for themselves. After the capture of Iwo Jima, B-29 losses dropped drastically. The island became the most critical link in the strategic bombing logistics chain. The planners were not blind to the cost. Intelligence, including ultra-decryptions, painted a grim picture. Colonel John R. Lanigan, intelligence officer for the V Amphibious Corps, produced a revised estimate on January 15, 1945. 13 to 14,000 defenders. He was substantially wrong. Lieutenant General Tadamichi Kiribayashi, a brilliant and unorthodox commander, had already overseen the construction of an underground fortress for more than 21,000 men. The debate at the highest levels was intense. Admiral Raymond Spruance, commander of the Fifth Fleet, saw Iwo Jima as a necessary diversion. General Howland Mad Smith correctly predicted a bloodbath, but Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, pressed by the USAAF, made the final decision. The equation was inhuman but clear. The sacrifice of perhaps 10,000 Marines could save 25,000 airmen and shorten the war. The strongest voice of opposition was Admiral William F. Bull Halsey, commander of the Third Fleet. Halsey argued vehemently that Iwo Jima and Okinawa should be bypassed, isolated, and left to wither on the vine, while American forces focused on a direct attack on Kyushu. The vision of Nimitz and the USAAF prevailed. On February 19, 1945, the largest amphibious force ever assembled in the Pacific headed for its destination. The justification was solidified in operation orders. Now, it would be tested in fire. While the strategists debated, common men prepared to execute their orders. Among them was Sergeant Michael Strank, a Czech-American immigrant, one of many Marines who embarked without knowing their destination, but with an unshakable sense of duty. On the other side of this equation were the airmen. To them, the Marines on Iwo Jima were not a strategic abstraction. They were their guardian angels, conquering at a terrible price the piece of land that could save them. And the fighter pilots themselves, the men who would make the justification work, felt the weight of responsibility. They were the final link in the chain. Each successful escort mission validated in their eyes the sacrifice that was taking place on the ground below them. At 08:59 on February 19, 1945, theory met reality. The first waves of Marines from the 4th and 5th Divisions met not immediate resistance, but treacherous sand that paralyzed their advance. For an hour, a tense peace reigned. The strategic justification seemed distant. And then General Kiribayashi triggered his plan. From the slopes of Suribachi and the northern highlands, a hurricane of steel, artillery, mortars, machine guns fell upon the beaches. The cost of the strategy was instantly translated into blood. First Lieutenant John K. Wells of the 1st Battalion, 28th Marines, would later write, "Within 30 minutes, the beach became a slaughterhouse. The idea that we were there for a greater reason was the only thing that kept us moving forward." 36 days later, the island was declared secure. The cost was almost unimaginable. 6,821 American Marines killed, over 19,000 wounded. Nearly the entire Japanese garrison of 21,000 men was annihilated. The question hung in the smoky air: was it worth it? The answer, in purely mathematical and strategic terms, is a resounding yes. From March to August 1945, Iwo Jima fulfilled its promise beyond the most optimistic expectations. 2,251 B-29s made emergency landings, saving the lives of approximately 24,761 airmen, a number that far exceeds the total number of Marines who landed on the island. The P-51 Mustangs, operating from Iwo's runways, claimed the destruction of 1,931 enemy aircraft, effectively clearing the skies for the bombing campaign that devastated Japan. The legacy of Iwo Jima is twofold. It is a monument to the deepest sacrifice of the U.S. Marines, and it is the cornerstone of the successful strategic bombing campaign that forced the end of the war. Iwo Jima was, ultimately, about conquering a capability, the ability to project power and offer salvation. The price was paid in blood. The result, measured in lives saved and a war shortened. The sacrifice on that small volcanic island remains a solemn testament to the cost of victory and the moral complexity of the decisions that drive it. On the next episode of Iwo Jima, The Devil's Plan, Kiribayashi's Fortification, how a single general, defying his own country's military doctrine, transformed a volcanic island into the most lethal and intelligent defense of the Pacific War. A story of tactical genius applied to a lost cause. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it.